Hi, everybody. It's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace. One thing I really notice about people that have compulsive problems, compulsion problems with food and eating and with many other things is that they feel extremely full of self loathing sometimes, right after the binge or right after they've eaten the thing that they promised they wouldn't eat or done the thing that they promised they wouldn't do. There's a volume of negativity that descends upon the person, a depression, a guilt, an anxiety, a sense of deserving punishment. And I thought I would speak today about that kind of sense of failure, your conclusion that you've done something terribly wrong and been a failure and it's all one big disaster, and the despair that can come upon you from doing the thing, taking the bite of the thing that you didn't want to take or promised you wouldn't. If you're a type of a person that has a food plan, that never really worked for me as a peaceful method. But if you are, that you went out of the food plan, my sense of failure would come out of overeat, just feeling a sense physically of disconnect with the body's needs. And that can be your plan too. That plan worked beautifully for me. It still does. It's like just I will not go out of the boundaries of care and love for myself when it comes to food and eating. I will not push into overeating. I will question my thinking if I ever did. It just seems day after day goes by without it. There was one experience that I had when I kind of began to move back into being unaware of my own fullness in one dinner. One time, maybe about 5 years ago, in the last 15 years or so, and maybe 20 years. And it was very, very powerful for the awareness that I had, just watching. And it rose up in the morning. I felt kind of like that strange, still digesting feeling of a huge feast the night before. And I just had not eaten that much in a long, long time. And I remember being aware of the sense of criticism and like, what is going on? What happened? What was going on there? And just using it as a discovery almost immediately, and doing things that were extremely nurturing and gentle for myself. And that included taking this beautiful pink beach bike that had a big basket that I had rented in the place that I was staying. And just taking it out for a ride and exploring the area instead of going to the keynote speaker meeting that was being offered. And I just found and discovered the most amazing hike in the hills around that area that I was in. Just biked and felt the fresh breeze on my face, and was coming back into the center of myself, being at home in my own skin. But I wanted to share with you a passage from the Tao, because what is interesting is that we move in and out, swing from side to side around this balance in the middle. Of course, the balance in the middle feels like the most balanced, the most even-keeled, the most solid, the safest and most comfortable place to be. It's just natural, flowing in and out. And when it gets extreme on one side, fullness, going over the edge, having something become more important than our commitment to not hurting ourselves with food, something else becomes more important. Or swinging over here in the opposite and starving ourselves and going without and accessing extreme control and being rigid about our plan or diet, whatever that is for you, extremely rigid, doing that over here. And that can have a lack of safety in it too. Very extreme. And anyway, just finding someplace in the middle that is the most, just so loving and kind. Tricky, but always there. That's what I wanted to speak to. Is it not always there, no matter what you've done? There is some place inside all of us, I can feel it all the time, that is totally fine with whatever is. It's completely comfortable with what you've done. It is not saying that you deserve to die, because that's just a thought in the mind. You should be punished. It's not screaming at you that something's wrong with you. It's just silently there with you anyway. And to connect with that part, no matter what you've done, no matter how desperately you've behaved, no matter what crimes you've committed, to notice that there is a homeness in you that lives, that's here, no matter what, that is uninvolved with judgment. It does not care. It does not mind. It's kind of like Mother Earth, part of nature. So, to the Tao. This is number 78. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. And yet, for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. Nothing. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart. Because he has given up helping, he is the people's greatest help. And I would say even his own self, her own self's greatest help. Because he's given up helping. She's given up helping. And true words seem paradoxical, says the Tao. True words seem paradoxical. It's always a paradox. But I love that the most important thing, key in this for today, what I'm speaking to is, no matter how far down you've gone, if you're here even listening and being a part of this right now in your life, and you're aware, the soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. I find that to be true every time. In my attempts to control my eating disorder and eating disordered behavior, I would have all kinds of rules that would come in. I know, I'll try this now. Many rules, many rigid things, gone to everything you can possibly think of, including 12 steps and having certain kinds of food plans and just all kinds of approaches, saying certain chants to myself, doing therapy, and all of them contributed. All of them contributed to exactly where I am today. Ultimately, I wanted freedom. Freedom. Peace and freedom. And I just find I don't even have to have the intention to do that. And no one does either. You don't either. There's already something here that is really, really deeply, deeply interested in absolute freedom. A center of love, unconditional, that thing that says, I don't care what you did yesterday or last night, how much you ate. I'm still here. The sun still came up and there's another day and you're in your environment and you're in your body and you're still aware and alive and you can start over. And as I've said before, just wait a little bit just to be comfortable and kind to yourself, and relax and have silence come into you and support you. That can happen for anyone. That's available for you, and it's like a sense of unconditional home inside your heart. A place of that's here from the time you're born all the way to now. Because there's some thread that has been with you the entire time, never ending. It's never gone away. It's right here, always, no matter what you've done, and no matter what kind of thoughts you've had about yourself that are extremely critical and punishing and despairing, if you're the kind of person that has those. There's this unconditional place that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just to remember that. The soft overcomes the hard. So, yes, you can move into sort of like solving the problem. You're going to continuously be looking because it doesn't feel good to overeat, to stuff yourself, or to have real whacked out behavior with food, or to make yourself throw up like I used to. Doesn't feel good at all. Feels super off balance. Feels like you're not staying connected and aware with life and the process, and you're not loving. But the soft ultimately is what overcame that hardness, the harshness of acting out super intense compulsive behavior, violent behavior. The soft overcomes the hard. So just like water, relaxing, and you can say, maybe I'll practice being water today. What is water like? It just falls, all the water travels down to the sea. It just lets itself flow down. It doesn't really assert itself, even though it is incredibly powerful. It just falls downward. So if you get a sense of moving through life, falling openly downward towards some place that is, we don't know where this is going, and being that way with food and eating, and it can feel really gentle and soft and relaxed and supported. So try that. This energy that you have between you and eating is as soft as a river flowing, relaxed. And you may find that that's a peaceful image for you to hold, just what that energy is, that you don't have to crunch down into forcing or doing something that counteracts that kind of compulsive behavior. But just to relax is the most important thing and the most powerful thing you can possibly do at all. All right, let me know how it goes.